Hi guys, welcome back. So I know I've been gone for a while and this probably will happen a lot. I do have autoimmune disease and it's kicking my butt right now, quite literally. So I relapsed and now I'm dealing with the difficulty of that. But that aside, I'll try to put out stuff as I find things that I think will be helpful. So it's not probably going to be as consistent as some other channels. It's more just to try to help other moms that are working on homeschooling and building that foundation, I guess, at home. So I'll have timestamps below. I'll have a few different sections in this. So if you are looking for something specific, you should be able to just jump to where you want to, or what you want to learn about below. Okay, so first thing I wanted to talk about is since we have Valentine's Day coming up and we have the Lunar New Year going on right now, which actually lasts for 15 days. I believe it starts on February 10th and it lasts for 15 days. That is the area that we're focused on for our read alouds right now. So I wanted to share a couple of my picks with you. I have been through a lot of Valentine's Day books and a lot of them are trash. A lot of them are just not good. So I wanted to share the ones that I had picked that I thought were pretty nice. Here, I only have 3 actually that I ended up liking. The first one is kind of silly. And it's the Ballad of Valentine, and it's all about how this man here, this man you see here, tries to write a Valentine and ask her to be his Valentine throughout the entire book, but silly things keep happening. So this is more of a silly, fun book for kids rather than like a serious dive into, you know, what is love and stuff like that. So very fun, very it's just silly. It's just a silly book. So I liked this one because of how silly it was. Another one that I picked out was Valentine Cat. I really like this one because it shows that people, maybe we judge people too quickly and we might not understand things from their perspective until we give it a little bit of time and ask questions why things are happening instead of just assuming what the other person's thinking and what they're feeling. So Valentine Cat is great because the cat thinks that he's being bullied, I guess, in the beginning by the dog, or the dog is being inconsiderate. But it turns out that the dog is, throwing things over the fence to try to share gifts with the cat and trying to become friends with the cat. So it actually ends up being a really sweet book. And maybe asking our students, why do you think this is happening? Why do you think the dog is throwing over balls and bones and stuff like that? It could be a good way to introduce that idea of seeing things from different perspectives. So I really like this book for that reason. And then the last one I picked is Love Is. This one is very, very short read. There are a lot of illustrations on each page because it tries to show the difference between what love is versus what, not giving grace and not being kind to others is. So it says love is patient, love is kind. So on the one side, it shows, behaviors that are maybe not so kind. And on the other side, it shows behaviors that are kind. Just like love is not envious or boastful, right? One side is showing them being boastful and envious, and the other is showing them, being kind and working together and not being that way. So it shows through illustration the different ways we can approach relationships and people. So that was the last one that I picked. A lot of Valentine's books are I don't know. There's not a lot of depth to them, and I didn't find them valuable for the time that we'd be spending on them. So those are the only picks we have for Valentine's Day as of now. And then for Lunar New Year, I decided that we would study China. we do have this curriculum, Around the World with Picture Books, which is good. It's not my favorite curriculum, I will say that. It gives like a jumping off point and some ideas for things, but it doesn't feel like as full as, you know, some history curriculum like Story of the Year or Story of the World. Story of the World would feel, or things even like the Bible curriculum. It seems a little bit more robust, whereas this one is, it just gives you ideas. It just gives you a starting point. So for China on this curriculum, they have some recommendations for books. So we have Ming Lo Moves the Mountain, the story about Ping, Anno's China, and Ruby's Wish. I reserved these at the library. I haven't picked them up yet, but these are what they look like. We'll be doing those. And then it does have some pictures, you know, of some cultural pictures that you can talk about. They give you questions for those books. You do work with the maps book as well, which is over there right now. You do work with the maps book to show you know where China is and to talk about that. And then they have actually even more books that they recommend here. I do have this book, The Empty Pot, which I really love. So this is one of the books we will be focused on, The Empty Pot. It's about a boy who he is given a seed from the emperor. All the kids are given seeds by the emperor. And they're told, oh, grow something in your pot, you know, and bring it back to me, and I will choose based on what you bring back who will be emperor. And all these kids come back with beautiful plants, and just this one child comes back with an empty pot. And he said, I tried everything. I tried repotting it and changing the soil, and all year long, nothing grew. And then the emperor, he chose him because he actually, spoiler, because he had boiled the seeds and there's no way anything would grow. So all those other kids that grew these beautiful, wonderful plants, they had cheated essentially, right? They had gotten different seeds to try to impress the emperor. So he actually chose the boy that kept trying and brought the empty pot to the emperor, even though he had nothing to show. He still showed up as a sign of respect and to show he tried. So I think this is a really cool story, and there's a lot you could do with it. And it's a surprising story, right? I don't think your kids will expect it at the end. So maybe ask them questions as you're going through it, like, what would you do if you were this child? And you could be emperor if you grew something amazing, right? What are the qualities that this child has that the other kids maybe weren't showing or lacking to show in that moment? So this is a good conversation starter for sure. So that's one of the books that's included in the library connection. And they give you some ideas for talking about art and a biography and history books. So some biography and history books. I'll see which books we can find. We actually just did the Story of the World, Kublai Khan. So this is perfect for us. This could actually summarize what we've already studied in Story of the World and will tie in really nicely. And then they give you ideas for art projects. So like doing the, I guess it's sumi ink. Is that how you say it? I don't know. I've always said it that way. And like the watercolor, they give you some ideas for that. And nature connection, they have some worksheets in the back that have animals from China. You could print out your own animals to color and put into a notebook or a binder as you study all these things, so you don't have to use this one. And then they have recipes that you could make as well. So we'll probably try a recipe. I don't know if we'll use the one from the book though, right? That's why I'm saying this is a starting point. It gives you some ideas of what you could do, but not necessarily what I will do. So it's a good starting point, but it's not like a full thing for me. So we'll be working with the lesson in there. And then I also have this book, El Chino, which is, I believe it's based on a true story, maybe. I think it is. I could be wrong. But it is about this man who has a heritage. His ancestors or his family immigrated from China. And it talks about how he finds his passion in life. I don't want to give away too much because it's fun. He finds his passion in life, and then he goes back to his identity and ties it in with that passion, and it makes him even stronger. So it's a cool read. And then finally, we're doing the Celebrating Chinese New Year, this book by Anna Heinrichs and Banrei Wang. I liked this book because it tells the traditions of Lunar New Year, of Chinese New Year. However, just as an aside, right, it tells them why they have dragons during Chinese New Year, what people do to prepare for Lunar New Year, what they eat. But they do talk about preparing the home, and preparing the home, they talk about a kitchen god. So it could be a way to introduce like the idea of, you know, people believing in these myths and legends or these gods in other cultures. But I know that some people will find that, you know, not good for class, but you could skip those pages and it tells you a lot about Chinese New Year and their traditions. So that's why I like that book. So those are all the books we're going to be using for our Chinese New Year. Oh wait, there's one more. Hold on. I guess my kids moved it. We actually already read this one, this last one. I forget the name of it, but there are books that have the traditional Chinese characters that you can add into your study. There's also a lot of free worksheets online teaching how to write the different numbers in the Chinese characters as well. So we did those last year. So you could definitely add those back into add them into your curriculum. That would be a lot of fun. They also my kids did the red envelopes. So my oldest actually gave my youngest a red envelope, which was really sweet of him. And my husband and I ended up giving him one. And it's a sweet way to try to spread fortune and all of that. I think it was very kind of him to do that. So he also did that. And you can make the lanterns for Chinese New Year and there's a lot of activities out there. This is the year of the dragon, so we do have a lot of books on dragons, but I haven't vetted them yet. Like I haven't gone through them yet to see if they're good or not, like they're appropriate or not. So there are some things that I might add to my Instagram or my website as I find them. So if you like this, if you like this kind of content, I would appreciate if you liked and subscribed. And you can find me at Be Here Homeschool BeHere.online or Be Here Homeschool on Instagram. So thanks for being here. Take care. Bye.